Facebook and put up on my website, Hannity.com yesterday. I hope you'll read it, because it's about 7 long pages, but it's America's Choice, Actions Speak Louder Than Words. And one of the things I made, the points I made, okay, we don't have any pastor-in-chief running this year. I'm not going to say Donald Trump does not have flaws, because he obviously does. And locker room talk is one of them. Okay, he said it. And he said he's sorry, and he said he's ashamed, and he said he's embarrassed. But you can't, if we're going to talk about this, you cannot ignore the actions of the Clintons, which has consistently been to abuse women, smear women, slander women, and besmirch their character, which frankly is far, worse than saying, oh, she's really hot. Oh my God, she's got such great blah, 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 which, you know what? I know, by the way, ladies, I know it's offensive. I know you don't want to hear this, but I also know that most of you already know this. It's all true. And it's wrong. It's not right. I agree. But what's worse here? I wouldn't be surprised that, there's probably going to be more tapes that come out. And when they do come out, which I expect that they will, maybe Donald Trump needs to feature the Bill Clinton Accuser of the Day on the campaign trail. We'll call it the Clinton Victim of the Day. And Trump should already be working and producing some new commercials and let these women tell their stories. Now, they'll be on this show and they'll be on TV later this week as well. We'll do what the mainstream media would never do. They're never going to interview Juanita, Kathleen, or Paula, or Kathy Shelton. I mean, of all the stories, obviously Juanita and Kathy have the worst. But what woman wants to be exposed by an attorney general, for crying out loud? So despicable. I'll say this. I remember in my younger years, and I probably shouldn't tell this story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. I remember in my younger years that, if I would try to kiss a girl when I was younger and she'd say no, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean, I'm so sorry. And I was embarrassed. That's the way normal people act. What guy pulls his pants down? Who does that? Who does something like that? Who thinks that they're going to grope, grab, fondle, kiss, and touch when the woman is saying no? Who rapes somebody? Who then goes out and smears the women because they told the truth about you? That's the Clintons. So if the Trump tape outraged you, especially Hillary claims she was outraged. He's not fit now to be president. That tape proves that this is the real him. Like when your husband had sex with an intern, oral sex in the Oval Office, the semen was on the dress, and we know the story about the cigar.
Slick Willie.
Well, you didn't say that he needs to get out of the Oval Office. So it's okay. This is why I call it selective moral outrage. They're feigning outrage. It's not real. Don't buy it. I said in 2008, journalism in America is dead. It is so dead and buried. CNN is nothing but a Hillary Clinton campaign network. MSNBC, nothing but a Hillary campaign network. I was watching last night. It was embarrassingly shallow and so ignorant watching their analysis. I can't believe how bad it is. Remember Gary Byrne, the Secret Service officer that literally Bill had so many girlfriends coming in and out. He took towels out of the White House that had semen in it. Good grief. So I said, I remember in 2008, 7 and 8, I talked a lot. Imagine the media. One time Obama was asked about Bill Ayers and Bernardine Dohrn, unrepentant domestic terrorists, and that's because I forced the question onto George Stephanopoulos. That's the only reason it happened. Because he was on this show the day before he moderated a debate. He's just a guy in the neighborhood, George. I wonder how the media would be reacting today if Donald Trump hung out with unrepentant domestic terrorists. They tried to ring David Duke around his neck, and he goes, who? He didn't even know who David Duke was. Well, you didn't condemn him enough. I condemned him 10 times. How many more times do you want me to condemn the guy? Imagine if Donald Trump sat in the church in the pews of GD America and then said, I had no idea this guy thought like that at all. None whatsoever. You know, Obama derided a whole segment of the American people. Kind of like Hillary's deplorables that are irredeemable comment. Bitter Americans clinging to their guns and religion. To this day, America is a country that Obama appears to be compelled to apologize for. Okay, so let's admit Obama is a flawed human being. I'll say that. By the way, I'll say I'm flawed. The Bible says we've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Okay, guilty. I am guilty. I'm one of the ones that need forgiveness. The only difference is about the candidates. The media's only going to tell you about Donald Trump's words and not how the Clintons acted. To think we're 29 days out of an election and they never brought these questions up, just like they never brought up Ayers and Dorn to Obama, is just absolute, dereliction of duty on steroids. It's so bad. And I tried to warn everybody what would happen if Obama became president. You know my statistics. I can add that 7 in 10 Americans, by the way, have less than $1,000 in savings. Lowest labor participation rate since the 70s. Worst recovery since the 40s. Lowest home ownership rate in 51 years. 12 million more Americans on food stamps. 8 million more in poverty. 58% increase black Americans on food stamps. 20% increase black Americans out of the labor force. Obama, the only president in history never to reach 3% GDP. 1 in 5 American families, not a single family member working. 1 in 6 American men 18 to 34 in jail or out of work living in mommy's basement. We were promised we'd keep our doctors, keep our care. It didn't happen. Aetna, United, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, all bailing out. We were supposed to say